there. We are the Gratitude Girls.
Gratitude Girls are in the house. Hi, Lori. How are you?
Hi, Catherine.
You are looking very beautiful in red, surrounded by these roses. What's the reason you have all of these beautiful flowers in front of you?
Well, it's Mother's Day this Sunday, and one of my sons, my bodybuilder, he brought me them.
Congratulations to your son and his accomplishments and to his very good taste on how to treat his mother. You know, they say that how a man treats his mother is how he treats his wife. So lucky you and lucky to your daughter-in-law.
She got 24 yellow ones for being a new mommy also.
Okay.
But yes, and in my rental, I don't have a big vase, so I have a two-tiered one.
It's beautiful. It's actually gorgeous. It's so lovely. So I think we could get started tonight. I'm going to look at the time so that way we could keep on track and give a 10-minute training on decisions and decisions. Let me introduce myself. My name is Rara. I like to walk into the room and say Rara is in the house. I'm broadcasting to you live tonight from beautiful Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ontario, Canada. And I'm here with my amazing Gratitude Girls partner. Can you speak while you're doing the tech?
I am Lori Delcradecki, and I'm in a little town outside of Nashville, Tennessee.
This is an international training and coaching call, and we are here every single Monday night giving you live free coaching and training before we go into our group training. So tonight, the topic, the talking point is decisions. What do you do when you have to make a decision? Do you break out into a cold sweat? Do you call a good friend? Do you write down all the pros and cons? Do you check off all the things that you feel good about? And do you put some kind of funny emoji next to the things that you don't feel good about? Do you have a team? Do you have a coach? Do you have a mentor? Do you have someone who you really trust? So tonight we want to talk to you about the different ways you can make a decision. And if you're lucky enough to be Lori or I, then you have each other because we have a process. Do you want to talk a little bit about that process, Lori?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is you always check with a coach. You hire a coach. Hopefully you have a coach. Like we both have other coaches. Like we are not only coaches, but we have coaches ourselves because the same thing. You want people who know more than you in your life that can like be outside the box and look in. You're not involved in the situation. So the same thing, like I had a situation today, and because Catherine's not involved in the situation, she can be like a coach and be outside the box and look in and give better advice and better things to think about and things that because I'm in the situation, I might not think about.
And what's really interesting, thank you, Lori, is when you're dealing with someone that you care about and you're working with someone that you love, you know where you can go in the conversation. So if you have a good coach, you will allow them to get to the point where you feel uncomfortable because you know that's where the growth is going to happen. If someone just lets you do everything the way that you want, if your coach is not, should I use the word push? You know, I'm from New York. If your coach is not encouraging you to have a real growth point, then I would like to have a conversation with you about that. So I know Lori and I know where I can go. And she knows it's important to let it go there. You need to let the conversation go to the point where you think, okay, this is difficult or this is uncomfortable, but this is where we need to go. So experience whatever business you're in and you're watching this live tonight, you have a business that you're in and you know where the parameters are and you know when you're at a growth point. So when you have a coach and somebody that's working with you and we work with each other on things, we know how to get to that point very quickly. There's no time to waste. Imagine being a fly on the wall when Lori and I are doing something. Imagine being in between us, being coached by the two of us. Talk about results. And that's what I love about being with someone who cares about you, genuinely cares about you. So if you were wondering why we were not on at 8:30 sharp, it's because we were working together and we came on at 8:31 because we were loving on each other and we were solving the problems of our worlds so that we could bring it to you. So let's talk a little bit about that. I really want to stay comfortable and make a decision as opposed to, oh no, am I going to be put in a position where I have to think about it? So Lori, what is that like when we deal with clients as well as each other?
Yeah, well, we, just like you did with me, we ask questions, how would it feel like if you did this? Or what about this option? Because some people don't even think about the other options available, right? And the same thing, someone that's not in the box, that's outside the box, could think of different possible options or outcomes and then make you think about those. And then and exactly that, saying, what if you could do this? Or what if you could do that? Not saying that you're going to, we're not signing any papers, but what if you could? Right?
I love that. I love that. And then you brought the possibility, and we do that with our clients. We bring them the possibility. So we bring you the artwork and you decide. But think about it. When one of my grandchildren was 4 months old, I used to tell her, think about it, because it was time for her to go to sleep. And I used to say, think about it. Before you start refusing to go to sleep, you're only 4 months old. Think about it. And I recommend that we do the same. Think about it, as opposed to deciding that we know exactly what we're going to do when we're with our coaches. The reason why you sit in front of a coach is so that a coach can give you a perspective that you don't have, so that you can learn something that you don't know, so that you can see how else you can approach that. What are some other reasons that someone wants that we go to our own coaches?
Right. Yeah. And I just wanted to say too, and that's it. It's not that you're making a decision right then, because in the end, it's your life, it's your business, it's your whatever, but it's just getting you to think outside the box, getting you to think of the different possibilities or the different perspectives, because the same thing, different people can give you different enlightenment on different ways in the situation.
Right. One thing I'd like to caution you on is being left with an open metaphor. So what I mean by that is when you go into a situation, don't be left hanging. Let it full circle come to a closure. So if you don't allow it to come to a closure, I'm sure your professional coach will know that, and they will keep you on track. Open it, close it, bring it full circle so that you know where you're at. Open metaphors and open ideas and things that are left undone. Just it's like a door. It's like it's cold out. You left the door open and something's going to come in. Think about your coaching sessions, your therapy, your planning sessions as something that needs to be complete at each one, so that you're not walking around with all these ideas floating in and floating out, and then perhaps inviting confusion or undecisiveness, or sometimes that could lead to just not feeling great. And you want to feel good. You can feel a little bit challenged about something, but you still want to feel good. Like you got the work done. When you go out for that walk and you're like, oh, I don't want to feel like that, but you come home and you feel great. After a good coaching session, it's okay to feel a little exhausted, because that means you did the work.
Right. Right. Yeah, exactly. And the same thing. It doesn't mean that you have to make a move on it, but you just thought in a different perspective. Right. And so the same thing, just like the situation we talked about today, right, with me. And it's like, I don't have to make a move on that. But the same thing, we opened it up and we came to a decision on a closure and closed it. And we said, if this happens, then that, okay, then it's done, right? But it got closed before we completed our session.
Now, what would be interesting, Lori, is if we were paying people for the 5 minutes it takes us to actually get results. No, if we were charging people, because we could be paying people for results as well. But imagine saying, I can do this in 10 minutes. No one would believe it. Because we could actually, when you open things up, you can get something done. When you put all the cards on the table, when you are completely open and above board with yourself, not putting anything underneath your carpets, and you say, this is what I need to do, like cooking. When you know what has to happen, you know that you can get it done. And it's not about speed, but it's about not wasting time, because you don't want to waste your own time. You want to spend your time with your coach, get your results, and then move on to doing all the other things in your life. So Lori, decisions. Let's talk about, we have like a minute. What about a hard decision? What's been like a really hard decision? We're with our coach. We're paying our coach. They're taking their time. We don't want to waste their time. And now we have a tough decision. What do you do in a case like that? Do you cry? Do you scream? Do you disappear? Do you ghost your coach? Like, what do you do?
Right. Well, that was a perfect example on cooking, so you need to make sure, one, you come to the table with your coach with all your ingredients, all your issues, everything that you need to know about the situation. You come prepared, right? With everything. So all your ingredients, you come prepared, and you're open to talk about it. Right. So some people that we've coached, I know, are still, they're like, no, they don't want to talk about it. Well, if it's just a talk anyway, and you're not making a valid decision in the end, I mean, who knows, you might make the decision, but we aren't requiring you to make the decision, right? But you have to be open to talk about it if you want to solve your issue. And be prepared for the answer, be prepared for the option, and be prepared to look at things in a different light. Because the same thing, when you're stuck in that little box, a lot of times you can't see over the box to see what could be on the other side.
Lori, reminds me of, have you ever painted a room and you think you're all done, and then someone comes in and goes like, you missed a spot. Like, what do you mean I missed a spot? I just painted every square inch of this room, but you missed it because it's right under your nose or under your eyes. So sometimes you just need to have somebody else come into the room and say, did I miss a spot? How does it look? How does it taste? How do I look? How does it feel? And that's what you'll get with the coach. So decisions. Bring all your cards to the table. Lori, let's talk a little bit about how people can get with us, get between us, and have this dynamic information transposed to them on their life with coaching and training.
Yes, absolutely. So we do this free for you every single Monday night. We give you free 10 to 15 minutes, tips, tricks, ideas, things that can help you both in your personal as well as your business life. We've been doing this over 2 years now. It's been a long time. We've got lots of free trainings. And so if you want to get access to all that, plus if you want to be invited to our private dining room, we do that also every single week with our private coaching clients. Go to girls.com/coaching. You can see all the information there. You could go to facebook.com/gratitudegirls, send us a message there, ask us. Well, our special for April is over because it's Rara's birthday month is over. Oh, boo-hoo. But you can still send us a message, and maybe this week, since it's just the first of the month, we'll add it for one more week, since it's technically not 30 days after her birthday yet. So
good idea. That's a great idea, because I was still celebrating opening up gifts last night. So we could just extend it a little tiny bit. And if you want to try us on for size, you could also talk to us about that. Get with us, send us a message, and we will let you know how you could have some additional Gratitude Girls coaching and training in your life live with Lori and I personally.
yes, and see you next week, everyone.
Good night. Ciao.